看今天的汉天新闻，我是赵子彤。首先来看国际方面的消息。截至昨天，新型冠状病毒疫情已经在全球范围内造成超过73000人感染。2月17日，钻石公主号上约340名美国公民乘包机提前撤离了日本，其中还有14名新型冠状病毒确诊患者。另一方面，船上还有部分美国乘客表现得非常激动，不满意政府的撤离计划，甚至指责时机太晚，过程太危险。这些被接回美国的人员将在国内接受隔离。卫生部称他们会尽全力将美国公民面临的风险降至最低。
An emotional return.
It was amazing. I have nothing but gratitude for the immense effort that was put into getting us all back home.
Sarah Arana among the more than 300 Americans evacuated from the Diamond Princess cruise ship, which has been under quarantine due to more than 400 confirmed cases of the coronavirus.
It's been exhausting. It's been really emotional. It's been confusing.
Some of the passengers are receiving medical attention.
One patient was transported to the hospital, to the biocontainment unit, because of a chronic condition and also was experiencing some mild symptoms. Remainder of the patients were transported to the quarantine unit.
More than 73,000 people are infected with the coronavirus globally.
If you look at the numbers overall, the cases still continue to increase, but the pace at which we're seeing new cases has come down a bit.
Mainland China is being affected the most. Officials there have placed travel restrictions on nearly 800 million people, and the country is also literally cleaning money in an attempt to stop the spread of germs. As for the U.S., health officials say the risk is minimal, but
we need to keep an eye on it because it can change, and that's the reason why we're taking it very seriously.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
日本的钻石公主号邮轮为期2周的隔离于本周3结束，数千名旅客和工作人员将开始陆续离开，在日本横滨上岸。但有专家警告，这些人还应该继续接受隔离。过去2周里，与其说是隔离场所，不如说是病毒的繁衍温床。那里的隔离措施并没有起到阻止传染的作用。截至当地时间周二，3711名乘客和乘务人员中，已有542人被确认感染了新型冠状病毒。该邮轮成为中国以外最大的疫情爆发点。仅18日，邮轮上再次新增88个确诊病例，其中65人无症状。
Well, more bad news off of this cruise ship docked in the harbor in Yokohama, with the news coming from Japan's Ministry of Health that an additional 88 people have now tested positive for the coronavirus. That brings the total number of cases on board to 544. But this news comes just one day before the process of getting all of these passengers off the ship as the quarantine period is set to end. That's going to begin starting on the 19th. Let's tell you the details of what we know about this process so far. Japan's Ministry of Health says this process will go on the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, and that's largely based around when people get their test results back. Every single person on board this ship must be tested for the coronavirus. That test must come back negative before Japan will allow them to get off of the ship. But here's the rub. It takes a few days for the results of these tests to come back. And the testing process continues up until the 18th, up until today. And so as a result, if, let's say, you were a person that received a test today, well, it could be the 20th, maybe the 21st, before you get your results back. So even if you're negative, you're going to have to remain on the ship beyond this 19th date, which was the date that Japan said the quarantine would end. Functionally, that's just not true anymore, because they say people will have to remain on board the ship until their tests come back negative. If they come back positive, of course, they will be taken off the ship right away and put into local hospitals for treatment. We're also learning that other countries are following the lead of the United States in terms of trying to evacuate their citizens. We know that the Canadians, the Australians, and the Italians, among others, will be evacuating their citizens on government planes over the next several days, though the timing, the exact timing of that remains unclear. Now, exactly what happens when the passengers get off the ship? Will they just be allowed to walk around here in Japan? Will they be put on buses run by the government? Will they be put up in government hotels or hotels paid for by the government? Those are the kind of details we don't know. But, you know, this quarantine process is going to start start to end tomorrow here in Japan. It's maybe the beginning of the end of what has just been a very trying ordeal for people on board this ship. Matt Rivers, CNN in Tokyo.
本周，超过1亿6千万中国人应当开始恢复到自己的工作岗位上。被疫情笼罩的漫长春节假期终于结束，但对于中国的各大城市来说，复苏似乎依然需要一段时间。在中国最大、最繁华的城市之一上海，平时熙熙攘攘的街道仍然处于几乎空无一人的状态，而写字楼中的工作人员也是全副武装，面对镜头时表达了对外面安全的担忧。根据上海政府的一份抽样调查结果显示，有80%的制造业企业希望复工，这部分企业的复工率已经达到了70%。另外，软件和信息服务业目前仍然以居家办公为主，但也有80%以上的开始复工。
This is the week that China is officially to come back to work. Businesses are expected to start reopening following what was an extended Lunar New Year holiday. It was extended so as to keep folks from congregating back together and exposing each other potentially to the novel coronavirus. However, it still feels as though it's very much in a holiday mode. You walk around and sure, certain businesses are open and you've got people that are out and about, like here on Nanjing Street, a popular pedestrian shopping plaza, but some of the businesses and some of the employees inside just look desperate to have some customers come in. They seem to be just not experiencing much activity whatsoever. And then you walk past some of the residential areas, but you'll notice several of them are chained closed. They even put it in English here to make it clear to the tourists, closed to the public due to the outbreak of coronavirus. Now, for the residents who live here, they're the only ones allowed in, and they can only funnel through certain entrances where they have a guard posted. They require you to register, and then they can keep track of who's going in and out. And for those residents who do live in some of those areas, once they do register, they then in some cases have to quarantine for that 14-day period, assuming they've come from outside of the city. It's a city that ultimately will try to get back on track. This is, of course, what China looks to as its business beacon. David Culver, CNN, Shanghai.
联合国于17日发表声明表示，叙利亚西北部的危机已经达到了令人震惊的新水平。目前，叙利亚的伊德利卜和阿勒颇地区有74处卫生设施已经暂停服务。在叙利亚西北部的近550处卫生设施中，只有一半正常运行。在近90万流离失所者中，50多万儿童生存状况令人极为关切。联合国方面认为，没有理由对一个已经受到了极大创伤的群体进行如此不加区分和不人道的袭击。他们再次呼吁叙利亚冲突各方，包括涉及的所有国家和非国家行动方立即停止冲突，确保所有平民得到保护。
As the High Commissioner puts it, no shelter is now safe. And as the government offensive continues and people are forced into smaller and smaller pockets, she fears even more people will be killed. In all, since the 1st of January this year, during the Syrian government's latest major military offensive to retake key areas in Idlib and Aleppo, we've recorded the deaths of 299 civilians in this region of Syria. Around 93% of those deaths were caused by the Syrian government and its allies. The sheer quantity of attacks on these hospitals, medical facilities, schools would suggest that they can't all be accidental. And at a minimum, even if they were accidental, it shows lack of proportionality, necessity, precaution, and so on. All of which can contribute to something being attributed as a war crime.
Over 500,000 children, 525,000 and climbing, have been forcibly displaced in northwest Syria since December 1st. At least 77 children were killed or injured in January alone. The breakdown is 28 children killed and 49 children injured. There are about 4 million people living in the Northwest. Just over 2 million of them are children. Virtually every child, up to 1.8 million of them, require humanitarian assistance. We ask for an immediate cessation of hostilities and an end to the war in Syria for once and for all. And we ask for all humanitarian workers to be able to respond to the massive needs in compliance with international humanitarian law.
The name of the hospital is Kinana General Hospital in Darat as a locality. This hospital has been serving about 50,000 people and carrying out 10,000 outpatient consultations per month. Second facility is Al Fariduz Maternity and Child Care Hospital. It suffered minor damage, but it's not clear at this moment if the hospital can continue operating.
During the Syrian government's latest major military...
As of today, 74 health facilities have suspended services in Idlib and Aleppo since 1st of December last year, directly decreasing civilian access to health care. Out of nearly 550 health facilities in Syria's northwest, roughly half are operational. Luckily, there were no casualties in yesterday's attacks, but they do bring the total number of attacks on health in Syria this year to 6, resulting in 10 deaths and 30 injuries, on top of restricting or denying civilian access to health. All of these 6 attacks have occurred in the Northwest.
2013年，土耳其国内为了抗议政府将格兹公园改造成购物中心，大概几百万人参与了反政府游行。反抗政府的集权，最终总统埃尔多安政府采用了强硬的镇压。这场游行导致了几千人被捕。几个月前，16位土耳其民间社会领导人开始接受审判，他们被指控在2013年的格兹公园抗议活动期间试图推翻政府。而日前，土耳其最高法院对接受审判的抗议者做出了最终的宣判，他们被无罪释放。这一结果得到了大部分土耳其民众的欢迎。
Many in Turkey are celebrating this decision, some saying that this is the best news to come out of Turkey in years. The mayor of Istanbul, Ekrem İmamoğlu, in a tweet saying that this is a real source of joy, that it restores trust in Turkey's justice system. Now, the judiciary here has come under a lot of criticism over recent years, over this trial and others. When it comes to this specific case, international rights groups have criticized this trial, saying that it was not fair, that there was no real evidence that was being presented against these defendants. And they said the real aim of this trial was to silence the voices of dissent and the civil society in this country. Now, this case was about the 2013 Gezi Park protests. These started as small protests in central Istanbul over the government's plans to transform Gezi Park, one of the last green spaces left in central Istanbul, into a shopping mall. But they were met with a crackdown, and that turned into a huge anti-government protest that spread across the country to 80 out of 81 provinces. So the prosecutors in this case were accusing the defendants, a total of 16 of them, of either attempting to overthrow the government or aiding that alleged attempt for their role in these protests. Osman Kavala, a philanthropist, a prominent businessman, and a civil society figure, and 2 other defendants were facing life in prison with no parole. The others were facing 15 to 20 years. So there's no doubt that this is a huge relief for them. Unexpected, really, but this comes after a years-long ordeal for these defendants. Some have left the country, others have had to live with these accusations for years. And in the case of Kavala, he has been behind bars, the only defendant in pre-trial detention for more than 800 days, more than 2 years of his life behind bars. For many who are celebrating this decision, who are really emotional about this, it's not just about these individuals. It's about what this means for them, for their country. So many people felt that this trial was about punishing those who exercised their most basic of democratic rights of speaking out and protesting peacefully. Jumana Karachi, CNN, Istanbul.
休息一下，马上回来。